I'm gonna be in black here.
Wait a minute here. Oh, there he is. Oh no, he's over there. No, he's over there. Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. I'm Paulie D. The guy. Oh, wait a minute. That guy over there is Chris Katsopoulos, former NHL defenseman. Chris and I were just having a couple of small talks about some of the crazy things around the NHL. Alex Ovechkin seeking 800 goals.
Who
He says, "Boo." I
who's
say,
that
"Yay."
again? Oh, you mean the guy that the league allowed to go and do what he's done his whole career?
And away we go.
Exactly. Rock 'em and sock 'em, people. Let's go.
Listen, there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about. And the first thing I'm going to bring up, because I find it to be amazingly weird, and I can't wait to get Chris's not only point of view on this, but like there's so many dimensions. So I had posted this on the page. Cal McCarr playing the Islanders, coming around the net. He's got the puck, right? He falls down. Referee raises the arm, blows the whistle. Cal goes, nah. He didn't trip me. I fell on my own. He calls back the call. He puts his hand down. Don't call. Goes to the middle. Says, there's no penalty on the play. Kati, there's so many ways I want to break this down, okay? The first thing I want to do is I want to go back to 1980. You're playing, right? Just tell me. Just tell me what happened.
That's one of the stupidest moves I've ever seen and heard in the history of hockey, coming from one of the best talents in the league. What the fuck was he thinking? That's what I would be saying to him as my team. I don't care if you're our superstar defenseman. I don't care if you're our number one player. I would have said to him on the bench, what the fuck are you doing? This isn't the way it is. You're supposed to take those advantages. Just, Paulie, maybe, I'm the dinosaur, and I obviously am compared to today's players and stuff like that, but that is just so... Is that part of the woke? I don't know. You tell me. Well, maybe that's the reason why the Rangers didn't get those calls last night. Zibanejad said, no, I slipped on a banana peel. Oh, or Lindgren getting cross-checked in the back of that. No, I just tripped and went forward. I mean, come on. Cale Makar, you're such a talent. You're such a player. Everything's about winning. Everything's about your team. Everything's about your organization. And you pull that shit? That's exactly what that was, and you know it.
Listen, I love the guy. And he's great talent. And you know what? He's a stand-up guy. It kind of, if I could be devil advocate here, it just shows you what a great character guy he is, right? But like you said, I got to agree with you. I'm thinking to myself, did that really? First of all, I got to ask you, Chris. Have you ever seen that before?
No, never.
Never, right?
Never. That's a never. And that's why, I'm going to go back on what you just said there. If he's a stand-up guy, well, I'd like him to sit the fuck down. How's that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Stop with the bullshit here, man. Like, he's not a stand-up guy. He's a dumb guy. Great player, great talent, but that was a dumb move.
Yeah, it's your team. Yeah, sure. You got to take him when you can get him, because I think to myself this, and God knows you played the game on the professional NHL level. I think about even when I played, recreational hockey. How many times didn't you get the call? How many times did a guy stick his stick in your face, trip you, slash you, punch you in the back of the head, and you never got the call? Here it is. You get a call. So what? He didn't commit the infraction, but I mean, they all kind of wash yourself out. So crazy, because I've never seen that before. It's a conundrum I've never seen again before.
Especially in today's game, Paulie, because everybody acts out everything now.
Right. I mean, they touch you and you throw your stick up.
Yeah, throw your head up, up to the floor.
The helmet pops up.
We're almost we're getting to the point, yeah, exactly. We're almost getting to the point like it's soccer again there. Like the soccer flops.
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden, we got a guy who's a Norris Trophy winner, and a candidate again, a Stanley Cup champion, and arguably the best defenseman in the league, say no, that wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
First of all, here's the other part I want to ask you now. If the referee called it, how does he rescind it?
I don't know, man.
I don't know what the rule is. Is there a rule that once you've called it, you can't rescind it? I mean,
he put his hand up, and the play ended very quickly.
Yeah,
I can't imagine, if the scenario different.
Was he going to put his hand up to check which way the wind was blowing, or what?
And Cal McCarr waves it up on him, and he says, and then he goes to center ice. He says, "There's no infraction on the play. There's no penalty on the play." So, with that being said, I'm not done with this yet. So, because I find it's like you said, it's you're a professional. You played in the game well over 12 years. You've been around the game your entire life. You've never seen it. I've never seen it. I've been watching the game, 40 years. I don't know. But now let me ask you this. I know in your day, if that would have happened, the coach would have motherfucked you to death, right? The team probably have been like, "What are you doing?" What do you think? The period ends. They go in the locker room. Does anyone say anything to him?
I would hope so, but I doubt it.
Like, Kel, what do you?
Honestly, I would hope so, but see, here's it again. We're going to go back and forth to 2020 hockey to the 80s and the 70s. First of all, the guys from the 80s and 70s would never have done that.
Right.
They would have taken full advantage of it.
Sure.
Now, today, 2020s, somebody going to say something to a Norris Trophy winner, one of the leaders on the team? I know if I was in that room, I would. I wouldn't give him two shits about it. I would have told him right to his face, "What are you doing? You're not helping our team by pulling that shit."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I just
like, guy's a great player, but that's one major boo-boo. How's that? That'll be talked about on his list of achievements for the rest of his life.
Right. I find that to be hilarious. So, I mean, I guess we can move on, but I just.
Yeah, well, I want to bring up the one thing too that I saw today, and I heard something about this a few months ago, but everybody remember the name Dominic Hasek?
Pretty good goalie, if I remember.
Not a bad goalie at all. Well, he's come out again, and he wants the NHL to ban Russians. He wants the IHFF, I believe it is, to ban Russians. He wants the World Championships to ban Russians. He wants the Olympics to ban Russian hockey players. So I'm trying to figure it out. I think it all has to do with that sore spot, along the Russian border. They're called Ukraine. But for a guy with a name like Dominic Hasek, Hall of Fame goaltender, Stanley Cup champion, calling outright for Russian players to be banned basically from all the top tiers of hockey, other than their own leagues, which you can't do nothing about that. What do you think, Paulie, about that?
Yeah.
I vote yes.
No, you do. I mean, honestly, I understand, I guess, where he's coming from, but the players and the government, a player is a player is a player. Just like you can't, I disagree with it strictly because it's not the player's fault what's going on. The player just wants to play hockey. Whether it be internationally, in the NHL and in whatever league. I don't think that playing hockey should have anything. Just like I just don't feel that should have anything to do with what governments are doing. Just like It's the opposite. I blew my mind and I stopped watching football. I haven't watched a football game and I can't tell you how long because you brought politics in. Don't bring fucking politics.
Hold it just a second here now. The NHL has brought politics in it the last couple of years too.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying they brought a little bit of the politics in. We all know what they are. We're not going to talk about it, but I think the NHL has brought in politics too.
Well,
you look at what Theo and Fleury said a couple of weeks ago. He believes the NHL makes a mistake by bringing politics into their game. And I agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that. Politics should stay out of sports, but unfortunately, they haven't.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I think there's a little bit of a difference of what you're saying. Though. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about alternative lifestyles, I guess you would say, or different, orientations. And I know there's a fine line there, but I'm talking politics. You're saying, hey, there's a war going on. Russia's being aggressive, so no player should ever play in any internet. I mean, that's bringing too much politics to me.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying to you though is he should be allowed to make his point because they made points on other society type politics and they let them players speak and let them people speak. Right. So I think Dominic Hasek has a right to say what he wants to say and not be ridiculed for it.
I don't think he should be ridiculed. I understand what he's saying. I don't agree with it. I don't think.
I don't agree with any politics in hockey. I'll be honest with you. All of it should be abolished. Period.
But now I will tell you this. I mean, if you want to talk,
I vote in favor of Dominic.
If you want to talk about the spectrums, I stopped watching football and I was like, black it out, turn your TV off, don't support the game. Listen. I feel like that is very political when players feel that. And here's the problem with this, Kati. And I want people to hear this because I did the research. The NFL, like any major sport, and I think, Kati, you can attest to this. And I don't know I haven't really looked at the code of conduct for the NHL list. But when this came about, the code of conduct from the NHL. So if you signed a contract to play for a National Football League team, you also had to follow the NFL, the corporation, the banner. You had to follow what's known as the Code of Conduct. The Code of Conduct, and I forgot because it's been a long time, what articles stated in the Code of Conduct, you will be present for the national anthem, and you will stand. This was a code of conduct.
And you abide by your own team's rules, too.
So now...
It's all in there. I know that.
So now, what I didn't like was, you want to act a fool, you want to hit your knee, you want to... And people can say what they want to say, and, oh, you have that right in the whole 9 yards. First of all, I work for a corporation. I have to follow a code of conduct as well, okay? You signed an agreement to follow the code of conduct. What bothered me about the NHL was they didn't enforce their own code of conduct.
Oh, you're talking about the NFL.
So, my situation personally was turn this fucking game off because it's nothing but a bunch of thugs acting out and acting the fool, and you're giving them the ability to do so. And you're ripping up your rules and changing your code of conduct and doing all of these things because of what they believed was a political.
You're freezing up, big boy.
Political stance, but it wasn't more.
10 seconds. You're freezing up.
Yeah, I see that. It's because I'm talking politics. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? My everything went back together. My point is this: keep your bullshit out of the game. Okay, there is a code of conduct in any profession. Okay, and the bottom line is I boycotted football because, and we've talked about this, Cots, and My father served in the Vietnam War. He died at 43 years old from Agent Orange. Okay. That flag means a lot to me and my family.
Oh, I get it. I'm with you.
And I'm going to end it with this. Whether you agree or not, I will say this. We're a country, right? We're supposed to be a family in this country. We're Americans, right? Every family has its dirt. Every family has its ugliness. Every family has its problems. I'm not saying the system's perfect. I'm not saying cops are the best thing on earth. I'm not saying going into wars we're always correct. What I'm saying is, just like any other family, you have your dirt, but you still stand shoulder to shoulder. Okay. And I don't believe in kneeling. I don't care who you are and what your problems are. Nope, I'm not an African American or a Muslim.
You better get off this topic.
American or anyone else. Keep
Ollie.
your shit all in there.
Yeah, you're breaking up big time. I don't know what's going on, but ever since you got wired wound up about this, you're just breaking up like I never heard a damn thing in the last 2 minutes. Anyhow, I just brought it up because I just think that it's interesting. A guy like Dominic Hasek would bring this up. Obviously, he has some some kind of thing in the business about that. There being from that area. The NHL has listened to everybody else's bullshit, so why can't they listen to his? That's all I'm saying. And you froze up again. Yeah, you're freezing up all day. Yeah, you're freezing up, Paulie.
Yeah, I see it.
It's really bad. It's really bad. No, sorry, people, but remember when man makes something, it's made to be broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up big time.
Here's what I want to try something.
Right, I agree with you, Matthew Deuce, talking about it like Tart said. If you sit for the national anthem, you sit for the game. Your boy Uncle Vinny, remember that.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about Uncle Vinny. All right, I'm going to try one thing.
Yeah, it's really bad. No offense, but it is.
Yeah, I'm going to try something. So
What's up, Dave S? I'll keep you happy anyways. I still vote in favor of Dominic Hasek, whether you guys can hear me or not. Even though I've been to Russia, they treated me really good, but I'm surprised I didn't find out all the bad things I said about Alex Ovechkin all those years. But it's the way it goes. What's going on, Barry? A package of stickers are on their way. Cool. Paulie's pulled the Invisible Man Act. He's trying to do something electronically. Should I just show him some of my new comics here? Here you go, Batgirl. Look, ooh.
So how is it looking right now?
A lot better, but you're still breaking up. See?
Right.
Yeah, you're still pausing and breaking up. So where did
All
Paulie
right.
go? Barry wants to know where Paulie go. I said he's like the Invisible Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're like having problems tonight, folks. This might be a 6-7.
Usually this doesn't happen to us.
No, this is. anyhow, anybody listening out there, sad to hear about Franco Harris's passing. I had a chance to sit and talk with him for about a half hour at Broadway Joe's golf outing years ago, and I was kind of like starstruck talking to the man, and next thing you know, he's talking hockey with me, Franco Harris. StreamYard is usually great. Not sure if it's on their end, Paulie, blah, 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 blah. Right, Barry?
All right, I'm here. How we doing?
We don't have a tech crew there, Matt. We don't have a tech crew. Paulie is the man who does it all.
Yeah, the tech crew is now in session. How's that?
So far.
All right.
I'm waiting for you to freeze up again.
Well, I guess we can't talk politics on this StreamYard.
Oh no! Obviously, somebody the way the FBI's acting today, and all the DOJ, they're probably watching us right now.
Hey, Cut, tell me that doesn't bring back memories on Blog Talk Radio, huh?
Oh God, remember that? Now you froze up again. Just gonna sit back and enjoy.
Oh, jeez.
I still got. Hey, right back. I'm drinking the rest of my Guinness, and then I'm gonna get into some of my Molson Canadian. Yeah, you're breaking up, Paulie. It's not doing well tonight.
I try to refresh.
Yeah, you're not doing well at all. You're not
We're gonna reload. I might have to come back at you. Keep your email. Keep looking at your email, Cots. I'm gonna try to reload this.
Alrighty.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, you are?
Can you hear me? Is that all right?
I can hear you, but I'm not on anymore.
I see you.
Yeah, but I'm fine. There you go. All right.
There you go. Add to stream. Oh, look at that. You're double.
Fuck you.
Double trouble.
Now we got the volume problem.
You there?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. I can add you twice.
We'll get rid of one.
There.
There we go.
All right.
The volume's good? Wow, my volume's shit.
Let's see. Kick from studio. All right. You there? We're good? We're ready to go?
I don't know.
And away we go.
You got me?
I got you.
All right.
Everyone see everything good in the chat room?
Barry saw me twice. I'm twice as nice, Barry. It sounds good now.
All right. Here we go. We're hardwired in. We lost about 100,000 viewers, but it's all right. We'll get them back. All right. So, with that being said.
Well, Barry wants to talk about the storm coming. Okay, so I just want to let people know that the Buffalo Sabres and the Bolts from Tampa game is canceled on Friday because the game's up in Buffalo. Now, I know one team that's real happy about that, and that's the Bolts, the guys that walk around in 70-degree weather every day. That's for sure. No, Barry, we're not going to get it as bad as you up there, big boy. It's going to get cold, though. That's for sure. Hey, Beth, what's up?
All right. Well, it's even going to get cold here in Florida.
What's that mean? What's that mean? You got to put like a sweater on? That's it?
Yeah, about 40 degrees. So, I might have a mild jacket on, but it is going to drop at night to about 30. So
what's it here right now? It's 28 degrees here right now.
28 degrees. It's good for you. It's good for the Caliones, you know?
Yeah.
Strengthens them. All right. So as we fucking digress because we lost so much power here, I have to let some other people know that we're on. We're back live. Okay, so we talked about Cale Makar. You talked about Dominic Hasek.
Yep.
You got into politics, and that's when it went to hell. Hey, real quick.
Connor McDavid is still leading the league. He's got 64 points, Paul. He's on his way to about 130-point season.
Oh, that was the other question I had to ask you. I was asked to ask you this question. I thought it was a good question, so let me get the exact verbiage here. Good kid, very good kid. I know that we've talked about it before, but I wanted to bring this up. Let's see here. Here's a question I've been wanting to ask Kotze, and hopefully he can answer it in the next show. As someone who's played against players like Wayne Gretzky and saw firsthand how he was in the league of his own on his own terms, of his own skill, is Connor McDavid the closest thing he's ever seen to that level of a player?
I don't think there'll ever be another Wayne Gretzky, personally. Wayne Gretzky saw the play hours before everybody else did. That's why he was so successful. He could see in the future, okay, of plays happening. Connor McDavid is a totally different player. He is a creator on his own. I don't think he's similar to Gretzky in a way where like Gretzky could see what was happening before the play happened. I think Connor McDavid is just, lights out speed, lights out stick handling, lights out heady moves, can shoot the puck. Obviously, it's just he's more of a creator, Paulie. I think that, like, for his own offense is what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? Where Gretzky dished and dished and dished, even though he proved it one year when he scored 92 goals in 1 year. You know what I mean? He just wanted to let everybody know that if he wanted to score, he could. Connor McDavid's in a league by himself right now, I think, when it comes to somebody who is able to create his own offense without getting puck passed to him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be fed. Give me the puck, I'll take care of the offense on my own. That's the difference between the two of them. He's just so fast, And I said this many shows ago, and you and I talked about this in the past. There's about 4 or 5 players in the league that are so lightning fast, it's so freakish, and yet they can still handle the puck at that speed, Paulie. McKinnon's one of them too, in Colorado. Like, where the speed that they create and still handle that puck with soft hands is phenomenal. And that's what Connor McDavid is to me. I understand what you're saying, because he's the leading point getter and Gretzky and all that. They're two different players, two different types of players.
Right. Don't disagree. But I will say this. I mean, this is my opinion. I think he's the greatest player in the game right now.
I can't disagree with you.
And I think I don't think there's been a player much like Connor McDavid in the last I can't think of anywhere in at least a decade or more. And again, like you said, very different. I mean, there's been great players, but the dynamic that McDavid brings with the speed and the ability to handle the puck at that speed,
that's
magical.
They're very few and far between, Paulie, when it comes to players like that. There was players like that in our day too that could do that too, but the percentage is so small where you could fly. Everybody can fly today, okay? Because of the no clinging, no clutching, no grabbing. Everybody can fly, but can you handle a puck at that 200-mile-an-hour speed? Not everybody can do that. Connor McDavid's the king of that right now.
Right.
He's the king of that.
Yeah. Yep.
So I hope I answered this question.
Yep. I think you did. I think you came, to the point where.
Let's put it this way: if you're going to be talked about being in the same words with Wayne Gretzky, you should be honored. How's that?
Right. All right. Well, I wanted to answer those questions. There's a couple other ones, and we'll get to them in a little bit.
Barry wants to talk about the bunting incident. I didn't really see it, but I heard about it. And the response from Bunting was it didn't matter to him. He was pushing his way through there no matter what. So I don't know what really happened there. Do you know what happened?
I know Sergachev got a big fine today for $5,000. I didn't see it either. That's why I asked you if you saw it.
I didn't see it with the linesman, though. The incident where Bunting ran over or pushed the linesman.
Oh.
I didn't see that.
I did see that. So I thought, to be honest, Barry, if this is what you're talking about, I thought the linesman was way too aggressive with him. And that's for me to say that, Bunting didn't want to leave the ice. And I got to tell you, the linesman forced his will on him. He just bowled him into, I think it was where the Zamboni doors are. So, and he just really, the linesman just like kept pushing him and pushing him and pushing him. And I thought it was a bit much, to be honest with you. And then Bunting turned around as a linesman skated away, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He was. You could tell he was pissed off. But I didn't see an incident where he really retaliated against the linesman. I thought the linesman forced his will on Bunting to the point.
He overreacted, is what you're saying. He overreacted.
Oh yeah. I know.
I wonder if he had overreacted if it was Wayne Simmons or something like that instead of Bunting.
Yeah. So
Simmons would have pushed back. That's for sure.
I didn't think it was necessary what the linesman was doing, but I wasn't there on the ice. I don't know what the words were said. I don't know if the linesman felt like the player was in jeopardy of getting his face ripped off. I really just don't know. But what I saw was very aggressive. It was probably the most aggressive I've seen a linesman on a player at the NHL level. Now, there's other levels where I've seen linesmen, act the fool as well. But, yep, I did see that incident. How about that mug, bro?
Paulie D. Looks like you got a little wear and tear on that big mug.
Yeah, I forgot what show it was you were on. You were on a hockey show, and you were talking about our show. It was the funniest thing, too. I love you, buddy. You were talking, the Instigators, me and Paulie D, and you're like, and not that clown from Jersey Shore, the real Paulie D, the original Paulie D.
Exactly.
I remember that. I remember it was the best, man. That was the best.
Exactly. That other guy's a phony.
Yeah. Barry, it'd be good to talk to Billy about something like that. I would imagine he would have a little more insight on why the linesman was so aggressive with Bunting last night. But we'll move forward. We will move forward. All right. So we talked about Hasek. That was a good thing. I do know that in that situation, Sergachev did get fined today, $5,000.
He's a little nasty. He's a little dirty, that guy. I mean,
he is dirty.
If you're a Tampa Bay player and you're a Tampa Bay fan, you love that kind of thing. But if you're an opponent and a fan of another team, you think somebody should get that guy. But he's actually turned into, I think they're saying down, what I've heard, Paulie, you can tell me this, is that he's actually kind of overtaken Hedman a little bit as the best defenseman on that team. Is that true?
Well,
that's what the words were out there in the last couple of weeks.
Well, he's definitely. I think they're looking for him to be the next Hedman. Obviously, Victor's getting older, and he's still got plenty of hockey left, but Sergachev has taken more of that aggressive role. Hedman, that they're looking for that. I mean, that's the talk. Obviously, Sergachev is a lot younger, and I think where'd they get him from? Montreal. I think they picked him up from.
Yeah, Montreal gave up on him too early, I thought.
He's got a real nasty, dirty, ugly streak.
Yeah.
Borderline, however you want to
I've watched him play. He gets away with stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. So a little less for Hedman to do in that area of the ice. and Hedman needs to. They want him to focus more on his offensive side of the ice. So I think that's what we're looking at there with those two guys. But I'll be at the game. I'll be at a couple of games here in the next couple of weeks. I'm going on the 28th, and I'm going on. I believe it's the January 12th. So I got a couple of games to attend.
You better set something up in February because I'm coming down there.
I know you are. I got to look at the schedule. I'll put it.
I hope it rains every day and dark skies when I'm there, so I don't get sunburned.
You won't get sunburned in February, big boy. You'll like it in February. Let's see. What else? Where else were we going? I had a couple of.
No, let's talk about the who's hot and who's not right now. I told you before we got on the air today that you can start a little victory lap talking about how the Devils have kind of sunk a little bit. I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're dropping like wildfire since we had our last show.
They're
not in second place anymore. Carolina surpassed them, and I don't know if they're winning tonight or not, but they're starting to lose a few games. They're coming back to the pack a little bit, but Carolina all of a sudden jumped them ahead of them. Rangers were in great position last night until they lost the game. They were ahead of two teams, but then they ended up dropping behind them. The East is going to be a tough. I think Boston's going to still be the top team overall, but I think the rest of the division is still up for grabs. To be quite honest with you, I do. And in the West now, you got Vegas kind of came back a little bit. They're still leading overall, but Winnipeg's breathing down their neck. I know that for a fact. And when you look at the 7, 8, 9 spot in the West, 3 teams you wouldn't think would be there is St. Louis, Colorado, and Edmonton. I mean, as great as Edmonton is when it comes to their individual talent, they're still struggling, Paulie. And I read a story where Ken Holland is taking a lot of heat on the social networks. That's why you'll never see me other than on Facebook, because I can always delete your ass. You'll never see me on Instagram, Twitter, any of that crap, because I don't want to listen to your bullshit. Well, Holland's been getting it socially on the social networks up there, and he's got to make a move. Edmonton needs defense and goaltending. That's the bottom line.
I don't disagree.
If they don't make moves there, they're going to do what they do every year. They're just going to fizzle out. Connor McDavid's going to win awards. Draisaitl's going to do this, but in the end, they won't do shit in the playoffs until they take care of their defense.
Well, if you want to talk about who's hot and who's not,
yeah, let's do it.
The hottest team out west is who?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably there's so many that have done.
We're going to give you a little help. The Rangers made a trade with them.
We made a trade with them.
Rangers traded with them about a month ago.
On Minnesota?
8-2-2. 8-2-0. Sorry, hottest team out west. Yeah, we'll go out east here. Hottest team in the East.
Well, at least we're 7-0. The Rangers were 7-0 until they lost their last games. So
you just
Carolina right now. Carolina's like the hottest team.
And the last 10 games. I'm sorry, I didn't specify. You just said it. Carolina 9-0-1, so no loss. They got an overtime loss. Pretty hot, and that's why they've climbed so quickly. And New Jersey, talk about, I take a little credit there. 3-5-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, well, they've come back to the pack, but
you know what?
They're still going to make the playoffs. I'm telling you, they're going to make the playoffs.
I don't know. That's where I doubt it. I don't think the Devils make the playoffs. I think
I do.
I think they're a tiny ass team, man. They're a small team up front.
Okay. We'll do our playoff picks too, eventually. So we'll find
out. Let's see. Buffalo 7-2-1 in their.
Oh, you know what? They have one of the best upcoming stars on that team. Tage Thompson. I'm telling you, I talked about him last time on this show.
Yeah, I know you're hot on him.
I spotted him last year when he played a couple times against the Rangers, and I was like, "Who is this guy?"
He's a big kid too.
Oh, he's big, he's strong, he's got soft hands, and he's got the second most goals in the league right now too. Apparently, or I think he's number 2.
Let me go
If
to.
I'm correct, I think he's number 2 behind Connor McDavid right now in goals.
Let me go to individual players here. Let's see. Yeah. So the Leafs have been real hot. The Rangers were hot. Obviously, the Penguins are hot. I think it was last night. Last night, talking about that game, they beat Tampa, who was hot and coming in on a hot streak themselves. I think the final was 4-1 last night. So took it to them.
Look, Paulie, the Leafs, my former team in my hometown, they've been close to winning it all the last couple of years. Think about it. So close, a game here, a game there, and it's gotta happen sooner or later. And I think what's helped them this year is they started out slow, but they picked it up, and I think their defense is still not where it should be. I think to win a Stanley Cup, I think they might have to improve that just a little bit. But their goaltending's been decent with Samsonov, and I can't remember the name of the other guy, but they're a little bit better in goal, and their defense has gotten a little bit better. But I still think they need to spruce it up a little bit because they got all the talent in the world up front. I don't care what anybody says. If you go man for man across the league, like who's got the best individual forwards, I believe the Leafs do. They got at least 4 or 5 guys that you could say single-handedly are like borderline superstars or superstars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From Marner on down,
Yeah. So
Matthews.
You are correct. Obviously, McDavid with 28 goals. Tage Thompson, 26 goals.
Wow.
Draisaitl's not far behind there, 21 goals. I didn't know this, though. Connor McDavid.
Bo Horvat. What about Bo Horvat? He's got 22, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's a guy that teams are going to be looking to try and trade for. Right? We talked about it off the air. I'm telling you, because he wants a long-term deal in Vancouver, and Vancouver, for some reason, has kind of shit the bed this year. And I don't think they're going to pay him the money. I think they're going to probably move him at trade deadline, and I think there's going to be a bunch of teams looking to get him. And I think he'd look pretty nice in a New York Ranger uniform or a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform.
No, I prefer Rangers.
But just telling you.
Kucherov, 35 assists. One of the second, only behind none other than Connor McDavid. Teddy Panarin, 32 assists. So Rangers crack the assist points there.
I think he's second in assists, isn't he?
Technically, he's tied for 4th.
He was tied second.
You got McDavid number 1. You got Kucherov number 2. Then you got Draisaitl at 33, so he's got 3, and then he's tied for 4th with John Morrissey with over in.
I just wish he'd stop making some of those dumb passes.
Yeah, me too.
Boy, he scares the shit out of me.
Puck management with him is the biggest.
Oh, sometimes he make. You know what? He seems to do on about every other shift.
Yeah, I've been noticing it more and more. The team really struggles with puck management. I think that's their biggest downfall. I just don't understand at that level, Chris. I mean, I've never played in the NHL, but I have. You've always talked about hockey sense, hockey smarts, how to play the game, and puck management is part of that. There's some basic knowledge and there's some basic 101s. Again, and we might as well get into it because it's 9:15.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Last night's game. I want to go back and talk about the Chicago game because I got to tell you that last night I thought they looked really good in a lot of areas, especially limiting 5-on-5 chances against with the Penguins. Okay, here's the team: the Rangers and the Penguins I mean, that game last night was as close as their records were, believe it or not. I thought the Rangers played a really good game in a lot of areas of the ice. Obviously, you convert on a couple of post hit or you convert on a couple of power plays. The power plays killed them because they had opportunities. They just didn't take advantage of the opportunity. And I think that's where they got hurt last night. But if I can just go real quick over to the Chicago game, 2 nights before, I thought their play was sloppy. I thought Chicago got some huge grade A chances against Shesterkin, and he was just brilliant. Obviously, they executed power plays. They executed in some areas where you could see Chicago struggles, but I thought their play was just weak, and the puck management in that game. I just thought to myself, I'm like, why are we constant? We're up, the Rangers were up like 4 goals, whatever it was, 3 goals. It's late in the game, and we're still looking to make a fucking drop pass. We're still looking to make a cross ice pass. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Gain the line, dump it in, go find a puck, fill the clock, get shots on net, play basic hockey. You don't need to score 47 goals tonight. I just don't understand that, guys. It drives me nuts. Panarin's the leader in it.
Well, this all goes back to the European influx that we had in the 90s. No matter what, they still want to make that ESPN NHL highlight film. That's why you see passes like that. They're used to that now, Paul. That's why they try that stuff. But safe, when you're up by 4 goals, safe is better than risky. You know what I mean? Like making the safe play is always better. And throughout, even though they played well enough to win 7 games and get through that Chicago game. I said on my post on Facebook, they were sloppy that night. I admit it, but when you score 7 goals, everybody seems to forget that. You know what I mean? But they were sloppy, and they've been sloppy at times throughout the 7-game winning streak. And what it boils down to is lack of communication, lack of hockey IQ in your own zone. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to make the high-end skilled pass. The idea is to get it to your player and get it the hell out of your zone. That's why they run into problems. They don't communicate properly, and they try to risky play too often. And there's also some players that, I'm not going to go into names, but I think it's pretty obvious that sometimes don't know where they're supposed to be on the ice in their own defensive zone. And some of them are better defensemen. Okay? So I'll let you guys read into that. But again, the Chicago game, you can give that one a little bit of a pass because it is Chicago and they did score 7 goals. Last night's game, though, what happened last night was obviously the power play hurt them. Obviously, their own penalty killing hurt them. They couldn't stop Pittsburgh on the power play when it counted.
Right.
But Igor usually Shesterkin's the other team. Well, last night Christian Jarry Shesterkin the Rangers. That's what he did. He got help from the goalposts and stuff, but he kept Pittsburgh in the game. Even though Kreider scored a real fluky goal to start with, that game should have been at minimum of 3-0 by the second period.
I don't disagree.
Okay?
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
But unfortunately, it wasn't. He kept them in the game, and Pittsburgh got back into the game, scoring a goal. Then they scored another quick one. Sammy Blais took a bad penalty to get him that second goal. And then I know you hate saying it, but then Sidney Crosby kind of stuck it in the Rangers' ass with that nice goal to finish it off with the third goal. The Rangers did come back a little bit and were all over them again the last few minutes. They had a few chances. They got bad officiating. There were some bad calls that weren't, I should say, bad non-calls. Like Lindgren, what's he going to do? Like bull rush the net on his own? He got cross-checked from behind by Carter. Okay? And it was obvious. Everybody saw it, but the referees obviously 3 blind mice, whatever you want to call them. Same thing at the end of the game with Zibanejad. Almost every time I see a guy touch a skate in the NHL in the last 10 years, it's almost a penalty every time. Last night it wasn't with 57 seconds to go.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things that went wrong for the Rangers, but I do agree with you. I think they played better overall than
I
the
do.
Pittsburgh Penguins last night. And Pittsburgh was fortunate to get out of that game with a win. But that's what happens, Paul. You get hot goaltending, and we don't complain when Shesterkin does it. So I don't think the Pittsburgh fans are going to complain when Christian Jerry shuts the door.
Yeah.
That's what I saw last night.
You know, I got to tell you, I really felt like they played well enough to win last night. I think like you had said, I think unfortunately Jari was just a little bit better last night, and I think the Rangers didn't execute on the big opportunities. They didn't score a power play goal in a time at a time where they really, like you said, I totally agree. I felt the same way watching. I was able to watch the first period and a half, and just. I thought they could have won that game. I thought they could have buried the puck. I think they really could have took the wind out of the sails and done it early, and they didn't. And Pittsburgh hung around. Whether Jari did his job and they hit a couple of posts or whatever else the case was, Pittsburgh stayed in, and then momentum swung around. I wanted to ask you. We were talking off the show. Prior to, a lot of Ranger fans want to talk about and know about and want opinions on what the heck's his name now? Why did I just draw a blank? The defenseman, the 6'6" defenseman. What's his name?
Ben Harper. Ben Harper.
Harper. I don't know why I just drew a blank. Alzheimer's, I guess. But
yeah, you got about another 5 more years to start worried about that.
Been hitting the head too many times.
Fuck you.
Yeah, been hitting the head too many times. What do you think, Kotz?
I like him. I like the addition. I know Libor Hijack might be a better overall talent, skating, and all that, puck handling and stuff. But Harper just he stays at home. He jumps into the play once in a while, which he's not known for. But I just like the idea of having a guy that big back there, and I think it's a good mix having him playing with Schneider right now, because I personally think right now that Brandon Schneider is probably the best overall defenseman on that team. When I say overall, I mean the defensive side of it. You know what I mean? And a little bit of offense. So I think it's a good match. And everybody's looking for somebody to kind of replace Ryan Reeves. I don't think Harper's the answer, but I think there's a factor there that teams kind of know he's a grizzled old veteran. He will drop the gloves when needed. I actually saw him cross-check a guy in front of the net last night after the whistle, which I love because that used to happen all the time in my day to let people know, stay away from our goaltender. That hasn't happened by a Ranger defenseman in I don't know how many years. But I like him. I think it's a good fit right now for the Rangers, and I think he's going to stay in the lineup until he – if he doesn't start playing, if he starts playing bad, they might sit him out once in a while. But I think he's a good fit right now, Paulie.
Yeah, I felt like he was a little lost against Chicago.
I know you mentioned that off the air. You kind of surprised me because you know what? If he was lost, then number one, so was Fox, so was Truman, so was everybody else.
I gotta tell you, I watched his positioning. I was concerned. I thought his positioning wasn't great. So, but I do like him too. I like that.
Are you watching anybody else's positioning in the defensive zone?
God, you gotta stop though. I mean,
you got to be honest here. If he's out of position, who else is out of position?
I mean, the guy is probably the leading point getter on the team right now.
He's not a good defensive defenseman.
I understand that, but
he's not.
Harper's out there to play defense and strictly defense, and hopefully bring some of that toughness that you had mentioned. I thought I did my research on him a bit. He's fought some heavyweights. He's not a great fighter, but he's a big man. I mean, he's just a big man. So I love him too. I think in the absence of someone like Ryan Reeves, you got to have that. He can definitely drop the gloves, and like I said, he's a big man, so he can hold his own. He fought players like Maroon, and he's been out there. He's dropped the gloves with some guys. So I I think that is the veteran stayed home type of guy the Rangers really need. So um, I'm a little worried about his footing because I know how fast the game is. So we'll just have to see. But I'm excited to see. I think he's played 6 games, 5 or 6 games in a row now, and he was part of that winning streak. So that's good.
Yeah.
And we'll take a look and go from there. Um, I think the other thing that I wanted to talk about with the Rangers was, we talked about puck management, and here they were. They finally went on this roll that was much needed, perfect timing. Um, Last night, like I think we both agree that game could have went the Rangers' way. They could have won that hockey game. I don't think they played horribly at all.
If they played like that against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh 10 times, they would have won 7, 8 games.
Exactly. I wouldn't disagree with you. I thought it was a very well played game. I did want to say this though, and I think we both said this a couple weeks ago. This team really goes as, and I know you had said as Zibanejad goes, but I think more importantly, this team goes as Igor Shesterkin goes. When Igor is just brilliant, this team, obviously they have enough firepower. Can you imagine if this team had the firepower when Henrik Lundqvist was playing with them?
Oh, I agree. I think it's equal. I think as Zibanejad goes, the team is it's still the same as with Shesterkin, because Shesterkin can do all that he does and be what he is on point every game. If they don't score a goal, it really don't matter.
Right.
So Zibanejad is that, what's that line there that Reggie Jackson said about on the straw that stirs the drink?
Yeah.
Well, I think Zibanejad is the guy that stirs the drink offensively.
Right.
He gets everybody else involved, whether it's on the power play, 5-on-5. And yes, I'll get on Fox's defensive liabilities, but I understand. I've told you this, and I'll admit it. His offensive game lets the defensive side kind of wash out, because he's phenomenal when it comes to passing.
Yeah.
So
he's very smart with the puck. He's very smart with the puck.
Absolutely. I got no qualms about him. His offense. His offense is elite.
Right.
Defense is average. And I'm being nice.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, I'm being nice.
So, Kotz, I know you want to talk about your other favorite player, Keandre Miller. What do you think's going on with this kid?
Again, I'm just going to be like Pete and repeat. He could be the best Ranger defenseman if he ever got meaner. I'm just a Pete and repeat. You saw what he did on that goal, Paul. Here's a guy that comes flying down. He's got a breakaway, gets tripped, falls to his fucking knees, and still has the ability to get up. I mean, people have no idea how fast this is unless you're actually on the ice. Because even if you're at the game, you have no clue how fast it really is on the ice. He gets up off his knees, both knees, gets up, and still manages to deke the goaltender out for goal. This is the kind of ability that he shows in spurts, okay?
Right.
Not there every game, but he does show that he has it. It's in his repertoire. I keep harping on, and I don't know if I'm getting it across to you or the people listening, that if he actually made people fear him a little more, just a little more. When I say fear, I don't want to go near the guy. I don't want to go near the puck when he's got it. I don't want to go in his corner. That ability would be so much easier and to come out. And he could do it almost every play. You know what I'm trying to say here? But sometimes he lacks in that the aggressive physicality part, and it takes away from it that ability to do what he does with his puck carrying. And I just, when you're 6'4" or 5, I think he's 6'4", 6'5", and you're 220 pounds, it don't take much. It don't take much to let people know that, like instead of just riding the guy, how about you plaster him into the boards once in a while?
Yeah.
And then that guy's going to think twice about how hard he's going to forecheck you next time you have the puck, or how hard he's going to chase you when you're actually going up the ice on a rush. This is how it's done. That stuff's still not going to change in hockey. You know what I mean, Paulie? Guys are going to reach instead of challenge you up close, knowing that there's some kind of nastiness in you, And he's got that ability. He's another. I'm telling you, Paul, he can be one of the premier defensemen in the league. And I know he's still young, but he's got to start showing that if he wants to take. There's a huge step between where he is right now and that superstar step. And he's got the ability. I won't say that he doesn't, because he does. He has it. He can skate. He's fast. He can stick handle. He actually got a pretty decent shot. And he's proved it more than once, though. When he gets in on those breaks where he takes a rush and gets in front of the net, Paul, he's shown some, like, high-skilled scoring ability, like some of the top scorers in the league.
Yeah.
So I just like to see him get a little meaner. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I'm going to keep beating it. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep harping on that.
Well,
makes a big difference, Paulie, when somebody doesn't want to come at you aggressively anymore.
I just don't understand, Cots, how that message isn't getting sent to him.
Yeah, I know. You're beating the same dead horse too. We're going to keep going over. I don't understand it. Is it kid gloves treatment? Is it the way they've been? Today's society is. I don't know. Probably is. Probably has a lot to do with it. You don't want. In our day, we got screamed at when we fucked up. We got screamed at big time, and every word in the book was used against us.
Yeah.
You can't do that now because now people, they don't like it.
Yeah, but I think I think you're not screaming at someone. You're just saying, hey, you're not unleashing your full potential.
No, but there's a difference on how you say it. Like modern days, God, we'd really like it if you were more physical out there. Well, Kotze, start hitting fucking somebody.
Right.
Is that what I'm saying here?
Yeah. Play the body. Be harder. Hurt somebody.
Well, Devils won, huh?
Make them know that you feel it.
Devils beat Florida tonight.
Yeah, the Panthers are struggling too, though. I don't think they've been real hot lately either. But that's their
Barry. You are the players today softer than what they were? What do you mean? I don't think so. They're softer today, Barry. They're softer than baby shit.
Let's see.
Oh, I got to answer this one from about why there's that phenomenon in the NHL the last probably maybe 10 years or so about the power play where the guy brings the puck up to the center of the ice and then drops it back to the trailing guy.
Yeah, what is this?
That's European again. That's what the Russians did. The Russians cycled that stuff in the Olympics like that, and I don't understand it. But
I hate it.
I don't like it either. But I think the reason why they do it, honestly, here's what I get out of it. The first guy that takes the puck up the ice, if he sees somebody challenge him when he gets to around center, then he automatically drops it back to the next guy behind him. But he also understands that if there's nobody challenging him, then he'll take it all the way across the other team's blue line. Yeah. It is what it is. But that's the stuff that they did. The Russians used to cycle. That's what Herb Brooks got into and everything else once the Olympics happened back then. That was famous Russian stuff where they went up the ice, circle. Kind of like a soccer game. You go up the midfield, you come back. Boring shit.
I bet you're one hell of a soccer player in your day.
Well, I told you that once. I played till I was like 12, 13 years old. I got thrown out of the league for fighting. They threw me out. They called my mom.
Nice.
They called my mom and dad. We have to let your son go. Like, I was like this. Thank you, because the whole story was, if you play soccer, you'll be so much better with your footwork in hockey.
Yeah.
It didn't do shit for my footwork.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Hilarious.
I was slow, okay, but I was slow enough to make the NHL. How's that?
Yep. Oh, excuse me. I apologize. So 7 in a row. They lost last night. Couldn't make it 8. Still pretty good.
Big game tomorrow, isn't it, against the Islanders?
I thought they don't play till the 27th.
No, I think they play Thursday. Don't they?
Yeah, but it's hold on. Yeah, I know it was Thursday, but
I don't know. You might be right. I thought they played tomorrow.
Well, you are very right. They do play tomorrow, the 22nd, 7:00, and then they don't play again until after Christmas. And they play your favorite Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals.
Yeah, he'll probably score then, so you can get your pom poms out and all that stuff. Barry, I want to answer this question here. I did read about the Russian kid for the London Knights that I don't know what the real story was, but apparently he dropped out of an apartment building. Is that, is it suicide? Is it not? I don't know.
I don't know this story.
Oh yeah, it happened last week. London Knight, I guess the kid, he's from Russia, played with the London Knights junior team, Major Junior A, and they found him on the sidewalk. I don't know how they found him. Was it, that something about him maybe falling out of an apartment building or whatever, but having to do with some mental, like whatever, depression and all that shit. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Barry. I did read about it. They're actually pretty tight. Should the juniors do more to help these players? I mean, how much more can we do these days? I have no idea. It seems like in the modern day of this world, in the last 30, 40 years, like everybody's got a problem. Didn't we have these problems before, and everybody seemed to, be diagnosed properly and taken care of? I don't know. I don't know what's the right answer, Barry. I can't tell you, but it's tragic what happened to him. So that's the best I can do about that. I don't know what leagues can do more than they can do for players.
I don't know, man. I think
all the opportunities out there for you these days. There's so many people that get degrees and all this shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to make fun of it, but it's true. Like, all of a sudden, I hear things mentally in the last 30 years that we never heard of before. So, I'll admit it. I went through depression too when I quit smoking.
I think we need to talk more politics.
Yeah, well, they keep the leagues, all the sports leagues keep going the way they are. You'll get it.
Well,
you'll get it.
Yeah. I feel as if, and this is just my personal opinion, and I'm not too upset if people don't like it, but society has gotten way too soft. I think you put it very kindly when you say, in your day, this shit didn't really happen, didn't really surface like this, man. These players and these athletes, and they have a lot going for them. They have a lot. I think that they need to bask in the moments and enjoy these times in their life. And everyone goes through struggles, whether you're a professional athlete or you're a plumber. We all have our own struggles in life, and I don't know that there's any more support or could be any more support for anyone. I think you said it, Chris, briefly, is that there's a lot of leeway, much more than ever before, and there's So, and we don't know. We're speculating that this was a possible suicide, but at the end of the day, man, we all think everyone how you face the challenges that you're put against. And I think in today's day and age, I don't know that there could be really too much more that society and workplaces and institutions and whoever else can really do much more than what's being done.
Well, the other thing, Paulie, is the pressure on athletes today, and I'm not just talking hockey. When you're an athlete, you're trying to, whether you're playing baseball as a kid, you're growing up and you're going to high school, you're trying to get into college, trying to get, into the major leagues. Same thing with the NFL, NBA, and hockey, of course. The pressure's on. It's so pressurized now. I mean, there was pressure in my day too, growing up, but it wasn't like it is today. Today, now your parents are spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands to try and get their kid to be the next, whatever, Willie Mays or, Larry Bird or Wayne Gretzky or whatever. And then you got the electronic world. You could be the greatest thing since sliced bread in your sport today, and there's always going to be assholes on that electronic world that are going to hate your fucking guts and just constantly rip you apart, and constantly try to shame you, and constantly, because that's what's been created by all this stuff. Yeah. Your Twitters, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your TikToks. I mean, I have no idea. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can be the greatest person on earth, and there's always going to be somebody, just for shits and giggles, that's going to try and embarrass you on there.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of stuff that these kids go through today growing up. And I'm not saying it's right, but if you're going to play that game and be an Instagram or be a this and be a that, then you better have thick skin. That's why I'm not going to ever go on Instagram. I'm not going on Twitter. Because I know one thing. I will react to you and tell you to go fuck yourself and everything else.
Well, here it is. And I think this is my point, and I hope people understand what I'm going to say here. So a lot of people aren't going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to bring it. And I think it's important because I think this is where we've failed our children, if you want to know the truth. And I said this the other day, and somebody looked at me like I had 5 heads, and I said, you just don't get it. You know what our world is missing? And people are going to be like, are you fucking kidding me? But I'm going to tell you why. Unfortunately, the kids today are missing more of the bullying that we got when we were kids.
Oh, God.
Okay? Because now it's like, you can't talk to me that way. You can't say this. When I was a kid, if you bullied me, I had 2 choices. I could go home and cry about it, or I could punch you in the fucking face. And I was the guy that would punch you in the fucking face. I stuck up for myself. Today's society with these young men growing up, they haven't learned how to take care of themselves. They haven't learned how to defend themselves or take care of themselves in this world because they've always, and Katzy says this all the time, and it's so true. The NHL and society can walk hand in hand right now with a lot of things. What does Chris always say? The players look to the rule book now. They don't police you. How long are we talking about? The players don't police themselves anymore the way they once did. This would never happen in my day. How many times has he said that? Because in his day, when he played, it was either, listen, you're going to stick me, I'm going to stick you. You're going to know I'm not going to take your nonsense. I'm not the guy you're going to push around today. In today's society, these kids haven't learned how to stick up for themselves. Well, Mommy does it, the school does it, the principal does it. You're a bully, this, that, and the other thing. So when they actually get bullied, they're committing suicides, they're jumping off bridges, they're changing their sexes, they're doing all this other weird shit because they don't know how to defend themselves. That's the true problem here.
I disagree with you. I can't disagree with you on that.
I hate to say it, but, when I said this the other day, I said what the world needs is you need that asshole bully in your life because that's going to push you to the point where you're going to have to take action And when we were kids, that kid who bullied you, you had a choice. You could stick up or you could run away. The kid who ran away got bullied again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And when did it stop? When you finally stuck up for yourself. When you finally threw a punch and broke someone's fucking nose. I'm not going to take it anymore. No different than when Kotze played hockey. Kotze plainly tells you, I'm not going to take that shit. You're gonna act a fool to me? I'm gonna stick my fucking. You're gonna eat a Canadian right across the neck, or I'm gonna punch you in the face. You're gonna think twice not to do it. He was just talking about Keandre Miller. If he got a little uglier, he would get more room in the ice. It's no different in society with these kids today. They don't know how to stick up for themselves. They don't, and that's the problem. Everyone's soft. I hate to say it. I'm sorry. You're a good bully in the world.
You're so dead on, because it does overlap with the entertainment that we watch today called sports, because it's easy for me to type nasty things about you and act like a tough guy.
Right.
And the same thing happened in pro sports. You can act like a tough guy now because the rules allow you to.
Right.
And they don't punish you for it.
Right. What were you talking about before we got on the air? You're like, listen, I don't begrudge Alex Ovechkin for all his goals, but the league and the way he plays hockey and never having to pay the real price.
No, in my mind, he never has had to pay.
The guy got to run around a little bit.
Like Gordie Howe did.
6 foot plus, 230 pounds. I believe he played at most this time. I think 6'3", 6'4", 230 pounds in a game of hockey with blades on. That's a big man. That's a linebacker.
No, he is 6'3". I don't think he's 6'3". He's like just under. And you're right, he's around 230. But you know what? Marty McSorley was 6'2", 250 when he played. People thought him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, and my point being is because, like you had said, and I don't disagree with this, but I think with that size, a lot of players shy away from making him pay the price. I don't believe I will agree with you on this element. Alex Ovechkin never had to pay the price for his actions the way when he first came in the league, man. He ran around with that big body, and I don't blame him.
He still does.
Right? But he never had to really drop the gloves and answer for his actions.
Nope.
You did that shit in Chris's game. Mario Lemieux was a big man too, right, Cos? He was a big dude.
Yeah.
But Mario didn't play that style of hockey.
Mario never did what Ovechkin did.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Mario didn't play that style of hockey because he knew what the repercussions would be. Mario had talent. He had hands. He was very brilliant when he played the game. He didn't run around with his body. He could have, though. He was a big dude. I mean, he could have played. He could have played a little harder that way, but he didn't because he knew that he would have to answer for that. And that's the difference in the eras. I don't know if we're digressing here, but I
think it's a good topic to start with. It leads into other things.
Listen. I will tell you, to any of the young kids, young men out there, I know it's a tough world. It's always been a tough world. Nobody owes you anything, but you got to be able to stick up for yourself. And like Kotze said, not necessarily behind, the keyboard. You got to be able to stick up for yourself. And I think if you understand that it's okay to be tough and to stick up for yourself, usually that alone will handle the problem. Other than that, you can't run to mommy and daddy all the time. You can't run to the principal all the time and your school teachers all the time. Sometimes you got to take things into your own hands. And
sometimes, you know what, Paulie, the mommy and daddy are the problem too, because they're part of that generation that brought these kids into this world with that idea that if you don't like my kid, I'm going to go talk to the superintendent.
That's what I was saying right there, Barry. You said it all. Learn to fight your own battles.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
some point in life, you got to do it. And the younger you do it, the better off you are growing up. Because then you'll always know to stick up for
The
yourself.
more shit you take, the more people take advantage of you.
Exactly. And that's the society we're in today.
Oh, yeah.
Society tells you, don't get bullied, don't be a bully, all those types of things. Run and tell somebody. But that doesn't settle it at the bus stop when mommy and daddy and the principal and the teacher aren't there. When you're walking down the street and the kid's calling you a pussy or making fun of you or tripping you or knocking your books out of your hand, it doesn't change until you drop your books and punch a kid in the face. It doesn't change when you're, out in a bar and somebody feels like they can, talk to you a certain way or treat you a certain way or whatever. You have to stick up for yourself, no matter where you are. And that will change. And then, we don't fall into these deep, dark areas in the world that, this is just how I see it.
Oh, I agree. Listen, I agree with you 100%. And I think what happens, it carries over to sports too. I mean, I hate, I don't want to, say that everybody's like that, but the majority of the sports that I watch today, they're all soft. They're soft people play, and I don't understand how you're going to play such a physical sport and be soft at the same time. I've never got that part, But it is what it is. That's the way it is, Paulie.
Well,
I don't think you could have explained it any better. How's that?
It is what it is. And I will say that, Matthew, no matter what, I always say Merry Christmas because I don't conform to the nonsense.
Oh, yeah, there's Matthew. I don't put up with anybody's shit. I don't go looking for trouble, okay, when it comes to like
right
what you can and can't say today. But there's nobody on this earth that's going to tell me what I can't say. Okay? Right. You're not going to tell me what to say, and just because that's the way you like it.
Merry Christmas.
That's not the way I was brought up. I lived this life this long and learned the things that I learned. Why? So you can change because you think so? Nah, not happening.
Yeah.
When they want us to unlearn stuff, think about it. I don't get that. You want me to unlearn what I learned all my life?
Right.
Go crazy. You're nuts.
It's not happening here.
Nope.
So the Rangers play tomorrow night. Big game. I think it's a big game. I think it's important.
Well, yeah, it is. If they'd have won last night, they'd have been in really good position.
Yeah.
Obviously they did, but this is a biggie because the Islanders were kind of struggling, but they're kind of coming back a little bit. Yeah. You got to maintain pace. The top 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions, 7, 8 in the East right now, Paulie. There's only 4 to 6 points separating it.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
It's a divisional game. It's a conference game. It's 2 points that you got to have. And, it kind of rights the ship after, it's okay. I mean, you're going to lose a game. You had a 7-game win streak. You lose one. You get on a little bit of a tear here. I think it's an important game. I think it's a really important game for a lot of things. Confidence, belief, and falling, getting into the winning habit. So we'll see. I would hope that Shesterkin stays in net. I think the thing on my side, I think Gallant really has to just stick with Shesterkin here as much as possible. I think Shesterkin is okay with the workload. And Halak, we've seen you got to seem to just stick him in there when you can. So, it's important. I think it's a really important win before Christmas, and then see what happens here. Like Kotze said too, it's really tight, man. The division and the conference are very tight. Just a couple of points are separating top from bottom. And it hurts more when you're losing points. So, I think the power play's got to be a little bit better, and I hope to God that through this team could learn a little bit better puck management. I think last night's game was really good. They showed they really came out. I thought they played really good. And it's funny because I thought they played good, but they lost. I thought they played shit against Chicago, and obviously Chicago being such a bad team, it was an easy win for them. But um, uh, like Kotze said, 7 out of 10 games, 9 games even, the Rangers, win that game or at least gain a point or whatever. But tomorrow night's a big one against the Icelanders. We want some fish sticks here. We need some fish sticks. And I think the Islanders beat us twice this year already, right? You got to take one from them.
Oh, yeah.
This is the last game. Believe it or not, it's weird. This is the last game against the Islanders for the rest of the season, I believe.
Yeah, that part we discussed. I don't get
strange.
You want to build rivalries and build people that are interested in watching the game outside of being at the game. You got to have more games within that area, but it is what it is.
Barry, you've never been to a Rangers game in your life?
Yeah, Barry, it only costs you about $500 a ticket. Just kidding you.
Wow. That's strange, Barry. I would have never guessed that. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. That's my call to say it's time to end the show. I've been on the go. Finally feeling better. Got over that nasty.
Yeah, we have no idea when we're going to do the next one because of the holidays. But
yeah, I got to get through Christmas here. Then I got the last week of the month, which is always tough for me at work. So I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be after New Year's, guys.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be after New Year's.
So all right. So Kotze and I agree. We'll take the next.
Probably a couple of weeks off.
Yep. We'll come back after New Year's. I'm going to try and I know Kotze said we're going to try and get some guests on. I'm going to get the platform upgraded.
Yeah, you got to get it where they can be on visually and all that. And
I'm going to get the platform upgraded. The one thing I do need to do, Beth, you and I need to talk. Shopify is not working well. So if you guys have orders for your shirts and things like that, if you're having any problems, please let us know. I think come the new year, we're going to go ahead and switch and go to a different company. So
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you, Beth.
Yeah, everyone else.
And all you guys that tuned into the show.
Hey, I'm going to say it. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and make sure no drinking and driving. You can drink all you want, but no driving.
And happy Hanukkah to everyone. I know today's I think it's the second or third day of Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah just started.
We missed it a couple days ago.
Yeah, it was the first day, but it doesn't Hanukkah run for a few days? Pretty sure it does. I'm thinking of Passover. I don't know. Anyway. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. We'll see everybody after the new year. Can't believe it's 2023. Let's go, Rangers.
Yep.
We need fish sticks.
And like I said, I want to get some guests on.
Yes. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Good night, everybody. We'll see you in a week or two. But check out the page because we're always there.